Welcome back to Sunset Park here in Las Vegas, Nevada. On a Friday morning, Friday afternoon, and good day to all of you. Our next game here on the Cloud Sports Network through the Sin City Facebook and Sin City YouTube pages are going to be this battle between the Palm Springs Heat Strokes and the San Diego Rebels. I'm Rich Siegel, delighted to be with you here at the Sin City Classic, joined by Dr. Joel Tremblay and our on-site engineers Roman Jimenez and Elliot Turner, technical assistants from Jordan Espiritu, and our off-site engineer is Mitch Barnes, and we welcome you. It is a little chilly here. I think we're still in the low 40s under an overcast sky, but we're ready for another game of softball with you. And the first pitch is swung on and hit into right center field, and it falls in for a hit. Chad Keith.
The Heat Strokes are the visitors in this game. All of the home and away games until the championship are determined by a coin toss, so we had to wait to know that as well. And that, as you said, that was Chad Keith, and they gave us a good amount of information, so we know that Chad's going to be playing left center when they're on defense.
And the batter is Peter Ho. And the first pitch is outside to Peter. And there's a pop-up on the infield, and in foul territory, the catch is made by the catcher, Gilbert Vargas. And that is the first out, and it'll bring up Will Wright. He is one of the two EHs in this ball game.
For those of you just joining us, the batters do start with a 1-1 count, 1 ball and 1 strike, so that foul ball is strike 2. And unlike some tournaments, you do not have a foul to give. So now that Will has 2 strikes on him, another foul ball, and he will be out.
But he hits this one fair, but it's right back to the pitcher. Fields his position well, throws a little bit high to the shortstop covering at second base, but he does make the catch, and the force is made. 1-6, and on the relay, Will Wright beat the play, so it's a runner at first base and 2 out.
You mentioned the extra hitter role. There are 10 players in defense when they are playing. There's an extra outfielder on most teams, so you can have an extra infielder. So the lineups can have up to 12 batters, those 10 fielders, and then 2 extra hitters.
Doug Sharp, the batter. He took the first pitch for a ball and hits this one into right field for a hit. The fleet of foot runner is Peter Ho running for Will Wright, and he manages to make it easy to third base, and we runners at first and third.
And as you mentioned, why was Ho on the bases after he was out? He is what's called a courtesy runner in this Legends division. You get 2 courtesy runners per inning, as well as runners who might come in if someone has an ADA designation with an accommodation of a runner.
Here's Fitz. And he pops one up on the infield. The catch will be made by the pitcher, one-handed, and that is the end of the inning. Nothing across for the Palm Springs Heat Strokes. They do get a hit, and we go to 2 hits, and we go to the bottom of the first with the Palm Springs Heat Strokes nothing, and the San Diego Rebels coming to bat here on the Cloud Sports Network.
We are going to take some of these breaks to talk about some of our amazing sponsors. One of our sponsors is Tito's. Tito's Handcrafted Vodka has been a longtime partner of the Sin City Classic as part of their Love Tito's campaign. Giving back to the community has been a part of the Austin-based Tito's from the beginning. So if you want quality, small batch vodka made with love and passion, then make Tito's your official vodka.
It's a lot of shout-outs that we have for this game, and we're happy to give those too. So I think you know some of these people. Oh, is this a shout-out to you?
I don't know for sure. I was looking to see.
It says, shout out Joel, and it says from Sir Doggy.
From Sir Doggy.
Do you know who Sir Doggy is?
Well, Sir Doggy is Edwin Herrera, I believe, their extra hitter. Going to be the last batter in their lineup.
All right, well, then we're going to assume that this is for you.
And
we'll echo that shout-out.
There are a number of Joels.
Shout-out to Joel from me.
Interestingly, I am the former Commissioner Joel, so the other Joel in play could be the current Commissioner of San Diego, which is Joel Lilligraven. We passed the torch between the Joels on October 31st of this year.
All right, this is Noe, and he takes, he's waiting to stand in. The pitcher is still getting his tosses in for Palm Springs. All right, and they're ready to play.
So these bracket games, and we are in the tournament bracket play, are 50 minutes. After 50 minutes, no new inning will start.
All right, we are ready to go here in the bottom of the first inning. The San Diego Rebels batting for the first time against the Palm Springs Heat Strokes, and the first pitch is swung on and fouled at the plate for a strike. There's also a shout out for somebody named Metcalf from David. David wears number 32. There's a ground ball up the middle, fielded by the shortstop on the first, and the batter is out. That'll bring up Paul Shepard.
As you mentioned, these Rebels are from San Diego, which is America's finest city softball league. They are a D team during the spring season. However, they have a lot of players over 50 and usually put together Masters teams with some pickups from San Diego and other places.
There's a ground ball to third by Shepard on the first, and the batter is out, 5-3.
Heat Strokes flashing some good leather here.
Yes.
2 good plays. Throws to first, as we saw in prior games, are not always easy, and those were some nice ones.
And here's Keith Berglund. Nobody on, 2 out in the bottom of the first. And the first pitch is on the plate for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. Swung on and hits a grounder to the second baseman, and that's a quick 3 down inning here in the bottom of the first. Each of the infielders had an opportunity in that inning. We go to the top of the second. There is no score here on the Cloud Sports Network. Again, it's the Palm Springs Heat Strokes and the San Diego Rebels.
A little bit different from our first game, where the visitors came out and ripped the lid off for an 8-0 lead. But good defense might be what we see this game. Rebels taking the field.
And a good afternoon to those of you in Palm Springs and in San Diego, and those who support players from both teams. Hope you'll enjoy this as we are enjoying it, bringing it to you. Randy Aguilar will be the leadoff batter.
And just to recap a couple more rules for those who may not have watched our first game. The pitches should be above 6 feet at some point in their arc, but stay below 12 feet in the umpire's judgment. If it lands on the plate or in front of the plate, it's a ball. Otherwise, it's going to be about the umpire's judgment. Did it cross the batter between the shoulders and the knees?
There's a sharp ground ball hit up the middle and on into center field for a base hit by Randy Aguilar. Pitcher thought about fielding it, and then he just turned his back on it and let the ball go past him.
In some slow pitch leagues, that would be an out because there's a box you're not allowed to ground the ball through going up to the pitcher. The Sin City Classic and International Pride Softball in general do not play with that rule.
And here's Kevin.
Now in a strike over the outside corner.
And he swings and hits a high fly ball into left field. Shortstop ranges back, does not make the catch, and so it'll be first and second and nobody out.
Tough play for the shortstop turning around. Easier play if the outfielder can get there, but he couldn't and just found a nice little spot to drop.
So it goes a hit, and that'll bring up David Binder. And he lets the first pitch go by, and it hops on the plate for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You can call that a bloop, a flare, a Texas leaguer.
There's a solid single into right field going the opposite way. We'll have the bases loaded for the Heat Strokes here in the top of the second inning, as Aguilar held third, Rottenberry held at second, and Binder at first.
And David, who hit that solid single, had a shout out for us to Bill and Puck.
Here's Mark Morales, their catcher. And that pitch is a strike called. This one thought about it, but takes it low. And the next pitch, he swings and he hits a pop-up. On the infield, the ball is caught by the third baseman. He drops it, but it is an infield fly, and that is out number 1. And that'll bring up Darren Turner. No score here in the top of the second, but the Heat Strokes are threatening. They'll score on this play. Here's a liner into center field for a base hit. 1 run scores, and everybody moves up a base. Ball gets by the pitcher on the infield, but it's backed up nicely by the first baseman. So it's the first run of the afternoon. Oh, now yes, it is the first run of the afternoon as Randy Aguiar scored on the play. Kevin to third and David Binder to second on the single by Darren Turner, and that'll bring up Aaron Butcher.
And Darren had a shout out to Mark that we wanted to recognize here.
Okay. There's a grounder in the hole into left field for a hit. 2 runs are going to score. I think that was Peter Ho scoring. He's now put on a sweatshirt because it's a little chilly. So it's 3-0 as the last batter in the order drives in 2 runs. It'll be runners at first and second. Back to the top of the order, and the batter is Chad Keith. He singled in the first inning. And the first pitch to him. Swung on and bounced to third, and underneath the third baseman's glove and into left field for a hit. And a run scores on that play as Darren Turner crosses the plate with the 4th run of the inning and the game for Palm Springs. It's now 4-0. A lot of balls in the first game, and here and so far in the second game, a lot of balls hit towards that third base today. Peter Ho, the batter. Aaron Butcher at second base, too. Ho swings and hits the opposite field. The ball is fielded by the first baseman, backhanded, tosses to the shortstop. They get the force out at second base. On the play, Butcher takes third, so Keith is forced at second base. That's the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up Will Wright.
And we did have a shout out for Peter from Rob at the Tool Shed. Tool Shed, a great bar in Palm Springs.
Will Wright swings and hits one in the air to right center field, coming on, and the ball drops in front of the right center fielder. Got behind him, fielded in the outfield by the right fielder. However, a run does score as Butcher crosses home plate, and that makes it 5-0.
And Peter Ho making it to third on that from first base. Will Wright at first, and Doug Sharp the batter. Doug has a shout out to the Skillets and Grubs fam.
He hits one past the right fielder and the right center fielder on a ball that's going to go all the way to the fence. Peter Ho scores. Will Wright will score, and Doug Sharp is on his way to third. They thought about sending him, but he will hold up there, and 2 more runs have scored.
And that's going to make our score 7-0 in favor of the Heat Strokes in this top half of the second inning.
Doug Sharp singled in his previous at-bat. He has a chance to add to his team's lead. He'll take the first pitch for a ball. You might have heard our home plate umpire, she called that pitch illegal. So, you want to explain why?
Illegal pitches are illegal if they go above that 12 feet or below that, or never get above 6 feet. It can either be from too high or too low, and they'll usually put their arm out in a horizontal line to denote it and say it for the batter.
There's a ground ball backhanded by the shortstop. He comes up throwing, and the throw goes over the first baseman. A run will score, and the other runner, Doug Sharp, will hold at first base. So the 8th run in the inning. Here's Ronnie Aguiar, and he lifts one foul down the right field line and out of play. Yeah. There we go. I have now my scoreboard, and my book matches yours. Here's the next pitch, and there's a fly ball hit out into left center field. That's in for a hit. That fielder comes up with it. A runner goes to third base, and the ball gets by on the relay, so a run will score. That's Fitz. So he has scored, and on the play, Aguiar takes second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got a 9-run inning working so far.
I have a 9-run inning with the Heat Strokes having batted around, plus Aguilar already at the plate twice. This is Kevin's second time at the plate.
And his first pitch is swung on and lined into left center field. The ball is in for a hit. A run scores. The ball gets by the left center fielder, backed up by the right center fielder. And Randy Aguiar scores. It's the 10th run in the inning.
And these heat strokes are just dropping those little singles in just in front of the outfield, but you never know. You could say come in, but they might be able to hit the ball over their heads if they do.
David Binder takes the ball. And he takes that pitch for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike. And David Binder takes a strike. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's a swing and a grounder to the second baseman. On to first, and the inning is over. However, it was a 10-run inning. Well, wait, let me just count these again. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 runs in the inning for the Palm Springs Heat Stroke. And we go to the bottom of the second. Our new score is the Palm Springs Heat Strokes 10 and the San Diego Rebels nothing here on the Cloud Sports Network.
And as we turn it over, we'll talk about another one of our sponsors. This time we're going to talk about The Garden. The Garden, the home of famous weekend drag brunch featuring bottomless mimosas, is proud to partner with the 2024 Sin City Classic. If you're doing Sunday Fun Day, make sure to do it at The Garden. Visit thegardenlasvegas.com for more information. That's thegardenlasvegas, all spelled out, .com for more information. I would be there on Sunday if I didn't have to be here, Rich.
Okay. All right, this is San Diego's second plate appearance. Frank Wayne, the batter. And he hits the first pitch to the second baseman, and the putout is made. David Metcalf is next. First pitch to him. He swings at the first pitch and grounds one beyond the reach of the second baseman and on into right center field for a base hit. First hit of the ball game for San Diego. It just eluded the reach of the second baseman, David Binder. And the batter will be Mike Martin.
Martin extra hitting today, but can play infield and outfield. Longtime coach in AFCSL. Brings lots of players and lots of teams into the league.
That's how you keep leagues growing. So good for him. Here's the next pitch to him. After that first pitch was a ball. Well, this pitch is a strike. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 bounce to the first baseman, and the first baseman steps on the bag for the out. On the play, Metcalf takes second. Martin is out 3 unassisted. Bring up Gilbert Vargas, the catcher. There's a fly ball hit out into left center field, high enough that the left center fielder draws a beat on it. The out is made and the inning is over. 1 hit, nobody left. We go to the top of the third. It is still the Palm Springs Heat Strokes 10 and the San Diego Rebels nothing here on the Cloud Sports Network.
Rebels usually known as a good hitting team. I'm not sure if it's just the cold or just a little early in the morning trying to shake off the dust. They'll probably pick it up in a little bit here. You do worry a little bit about injuries. I think people may be taking a little bit slower. As we mentioned in the first game, some of these teams or players at least, may be playing on C or D or B teams tomorrow, probably C or D since this is the Legends D division. And so to come to plan for 3 days of softball and pull a hamstring on the first day in the cold is not what anybody wants. So hopefully they will stay warm, stay loose, and we won't have any of those things. But it might be a reason that they're missing a step on the ball.
So when you are playing in weather like this, do you find that your stretching routine in advance of the game is a little longer than it would be normally?
I usually stretch a little bit more, but the big thing is I think what is the most dangerous to me is to heat up and cool down and then heat up again. So I just try to stay warm and loose once I've started playing.
Okay. This is Mark Morales, the catcher. He has a 2-ball, 2-strike count as he took the first pitch for a ball and hit that second pitch down the left field line. And the next pitch to him is lined into right center field, and the catch is made by the right center fielder. That is out number 1. Ball was solidly hit, but right to him in right center field, and that is the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Darren Turner.
That was Mike Martin out there. He's the coach, and he might have decided to move the outfield in a few steps to make sure that those got caught.
The next pitch is a strike. Is the hamstring the one muscle group that would have a tendency to be injured first ahead of any other,
Anything can be, but I would say that's the one. If you're like starting a little cold and take too big a first step, that's the one that's usually the first thing to get pulled.
Turner hits one to the shortstop. He fielded and then lost it. So Turner, who runs very fast, is at first base. Will give him a hit, and that'll bring up Aaron Butcher.
Turner with a shout out to Mark. Not sure who Mark is. We just have a list here, but Darren did want to get a shout out to Mark.
Aaron Butcher fouls that one at the plate, and then it rolls to the San Diego dugout. And there's another foul, and he's out. Bangs the bat on the dirt. Again, there is no courtesy foul. That's a strikeout on the foul, and takes us back to the top of the order, and Chad Keith, who's batting for the 3rd time in this game. And the first pitch is a strike called. That pitch was a little bit too high for it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and two. And the next one. And he swings and hits one into right center field for a hit. They may have a force at second. There was nobody covering. The ball just rolls to the 3rd baseman, so there was no further advancement by Darren Turner. They actually did have a force play at second base, but nobody was on the bag. Here's Peter Ho.
Yeah, and you'll see that sometimes. If you're not thinking about it and you didn't think you were going to get it, but the outfielder did, that happens sometimes.
Swing and a miss. Peter Ho was trying to hit one to the strip mall across the street.
We are pointed out here that, yes, we have one of the heat strokes wearing shorts in this weather.
And not only shorts, ugly shorts. With palm trees on them.
There's a fly ball hit out into right center field, and the catch is made. So that is the 3rd out in the inning, and nobody scored for Palm Springs in their half of the 3rd. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Our score remains that Palm Springs Heat Strokes 10, the San Diego Rebels nothing here on the Cloud Sports Network. I'm grateful for the fact right now that there's no wind. Otherwise, I think we'd be talking wind chill, but there is no wind today, so that's a good thing.
It is, and according to my phone,
yes,
it is 47 degrees right now.
Okay.
It's supposed to get all the way up to 51 later in the day. It feels like 49 or less.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, we go to the bottom of the 3rd. San Diego will bat Javier Salado.
And Javi is Coach Mike Martin's husband.
He swings and hits one out into right field, and the ball is down for a hit and rolls all the way to the warning track and hits the fence. This is going to be an easy triple. As the throw comes in, they're going to send him, and the throw comes into the shortstop, so there'll be no play, and it's a home run, an in-the-park home run for Salado.
And that just might make up for the fact that he wasn't ready for his husband's throw from short right center.
That's our first one of those today.
Coming up is Laura Lee Gunter, longtime player in the San Diego League. Have a shout out to Myrna, watching for grandkids. They're on grandkid watch.
That pitch is lined to the first baseman, and that's an easy play, so that's out number 1.
Laura also in that AFCSL Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Played on many great teams over the years.
Here's Raul. And the first pitch is a ball. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
We're going to get these shout outs in when we can, when we see the players come up, but it's also great if you tag your friends and family and the players' friends and family on the YouTube page of Sin City Classic and the Facebook page of Sin City Classic. Let everybody know that they can watch their friends play.
There's a line drive past the pitcher and on into center field for a solid single. This is why I would never be a pitcher. That ball was solidly hit. It just whistled past the pitcher and on into center field. It'll bring up Robbie Hunt.
Well, one of the ways I manage to pitch, Rich, is I wear a mask, which I think is the smarter thing to do these days, but neither of these pitchers actually wearing a mask today.
Pitch is a strike. Do you think they should make that part of the rules?
That is a very interesting question.
Pitch is a ball.
I used to think yes. And but talking about it, learning about it, one of the issues you get into are some of the legal issues.
And there is a fly ball hit foul down the left field line. They'll give chase, but he's out because it's again, no courtesy foul. I'll bring up the last batter in the order, and that is Edwin Herrera.
One of the concerns, and this just comes up in different things, is there's a liability issue. If you mandate a mask, then you have to pick a mask, and if that mask fails, are you on the hook for that mask? And so I think everybody should wear one, but it seems like it's best if they wear one because they decide that it's the smart thing to do. And we have had some very dangerous things. One of our own pitchers in AFCSL hit in the face, still carries that scar.
Here's the ball hit back to the pitcher. He bobbled it. However, Aaron Butcher comes up and makes the play at first base to the first baseman, Kevin Rottenberry, and the inning is over.
Nice dig there by the first baseman. 1 run in the inning, and so that's going to make our score 10-1 in favor of the Heat Strips.
The man with the sexy shorts is going to bat in the top of the 4th inning. That's going to be Will Wright. Will Wright has hit into a fielder's choice. He has singled and he has scored.
And Will with a shout out to BJ and the Bear. I assume he knows 2 people who go by BJ and the Bear, and he's not just shouting out an old TV series, but you never know.
Palm Springs gave us a lot of shout outs for this game, so we thank them. Thanks San Diego for theirs as well. All right, Will Wright to lead things off. His team leads by 9. And we're at play here in the 4th inning. There's a slow roller hit foul down the third base line. That's a strike. The next one swung on and lined over to the shortstop, and that's out number 1. Softly hit line drive right to the shortstop. Didn't have to move anyway. To the right or the left, didn't have to move. It was right to him. And here's Doug Sharp, and he hits one into right field, and that ball's going to roll again back to the fence. Right center fielder comes up with it. Sharp comes around second. He is headed to third, and he will stop there.
Second triple of the day for Sharp, who had a shout out to, read this with me, I think this says the Skillet and Grubs fam.
Yes. Exactly. Here's Fitz. First pitch to Fitz. Swung on and hit in the air to center field. It falls in for a hit, and it's an RBI as Sharp scores the 11th run of the game for Palm Springs. And that'll bring up Randy Aguiar.
And Randy with a shout out to Anna, the lovely wife.
Aww. He golfs this one out into right field. The catch is made. Runner tags and goes halfway between first and second, but holds up. That's Fitz, and he goes back to first base.
Partners, wives, and husbands a huge part of this league and these tournaments. Coming with us or staying at home to root for us or taking care of the things that need to be taken care of at home while we're here. That's what my husband is doing.
And here is a base hit by Kevin Rottenberry on into center field. It'll be runners at first and second as Fitz holds at second. And that'll bring up David Binder. Binder has singled and scored. He is lined out. And he bats with a runner at scoring position at second base with 1 run in the inning. And that'll be in for a hit. And this likely will be the second run yet. They're going to send him. Here's the throw coming into the catcher, and it's overthrown. So that will allow the runners to move up a base to second and third. All right, Fitz has scored. That's the second run in the inning. So
Deuce is wild here. 2 outs, 2 in, 2 on here in the top of the 4th.
Mark Morales, the batter, he has popped to the third baseman and flied out to the right center fielder.
Mark with a shout out to Shorty and Chopper.
Line drive caught by the first baseman, and the inning is over. Sharply hit, but the first baseman comes off the bag to make a play. 2 runs scored in the inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's now 12-1 for the Palm Springs Heat Strokes here on the Cloud Sports Network.
And we're going to take this time to tell you about another great sponsor, USGSN. The United States Gay Sports Network invites you to come out and play. USGSN is America's largest LGBTQ plus sports directory that highlights every league and tournament in the country. If you want to find a league or tournament by and for the LGBTQ plus community and its allies, then head on over to usgsn.com. The network currently features over 800 LGBTQ plus leagues, 45 different sports in 42 states and 85 cities. Visit usgsn.com and follow all of your favorite social media platforms with @USGSN. That's @USGSN or usgsn.com.
San Diego has a little work to do. Actually, they have a lot of work to do. They trail by 11 as we play here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Noe hits the first ball to the shortstop, and he beats it out. There's no throw there, so it's the first out. And a leadoff base runner, which is exactly what they wanted to do. Noe is safe at first, and here's Paul Shepard. Paul Shepard grounded to the third baseman in the first inning. He takes a pitch for a ball.
Shepard, an excellent place hitter. There used to be a ratings question about could you put it wherever you wanted to, and he was one of the few people in San Diego who would get that question.
There's a line drive foul down the right field line, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So this is the bottom of the 4th inning. We do have run rules in effect, but the run rule would be that a team would have to be up by 15 at the end of 4. So unless time expires, we will see a 5th inning here.
There's a line drive hit up the middle and on into right center field for a base hit. Noe holds at second base, and the first 2 batters are on. They throw back in behind him, trying to catch him straying off second base, but that didn't work.
Yep, Noah almost with 1 too many steps, but able to get back to the bag. I don't think he expected him to throw in behind him.
Here's Keith Berglund. He grounded to the second baseman in the first inning. Takes this pitch inside. And there is a looping ball into center field for a hit. They'll wave Noe around third. He'll score easily. Paul Shepard holds at second base. And Frank Wayne will be the batter. The runner at first to second, Shepard held there. So it's first and second and nobody out.
And now 12-2. The deficit is 10.
Frank Wayne takes the first pitch for a strike called. Swing and a line drive hit up the middle and onto the center field for a hit. Right center fielder comes over. They'll send Shepard around third. The throw does not come in, and so he scores easily. And it's another hit, 4 hits in the inning, and 2 runs have scored. On that play, Keith Berglund held at second base, Frank Wayne safe at first, and David Metcalf the batter. He goes after the first pitch and hits a fly ball foul down the first base line. No play for the first baseman. It's Kevin Rottenberry. He came in to try to make that catch, but the ball wasn't hit high enough. And the next one. Pitches a ball. Here's a swing and a fly ball hit out into right center field. A catch is made, and the runners will hold it first and second. I'm going to bring up Mike Martin. He hit one to the first baseman in his first at bat. He lines one off the first baseman's glove to the second baseman, who plays on to the shortstop, and the out is made.
Heads up play by the second baseman there. It didn't look like the first baseman was going to make it back. He looked right at second, threw it over there, got the out.
So Berglund is safe at third. Frank Wayne forced at second base. At first base is Mike Martin, and the batter is Gilbert Vargas. The putout goes 3, 4, 6. This first pitch is fouled off. And that pitch is outside. So Keith Berglund is at third and Mike Martin at first. There's a pitch, and it's lined past the shortstop, off the shortstop's glove and on into the outfield for a hit. A run scores, and on the play, Mike Martin motors into third base. So Berglund has scored the third run of the inning. It'll be runners at first and third now with one out. The batter will be Javier Salado.
Javier with that inside the park home run in his first and only at bat in the third inning. So if he stays hot, we could have a couple more runs here to cut into that deficit. Right now, it is 12-4.
First pitch is a ball. And the second pitch is lined into right center field. It's in for a hit. Martin scores. Vargas held second. And another run is in, and still just one out. The batter is Laura Lee. Oh, yes, there are 2 out. Laura Lee takes a ball. Hits one to third. Easy play for the third baseman. He runs to the bag and gets the force out there. So Vargas is out at third base, and the inning is over. 4 runs do score for San Diego in the bottom of the fourth. We go to the top of the fifth, and it is now the Palm Springs Heat Strokes 12 and the San Diego Rebels 5 here on the Cloud Sports Network. Fans, we are here in Las Vegas and broadcasting from the Ken Scarce Memorial Studio. In addition to being named to the Naga Hall of Fame, our good friend Ken was a former GLASA commissioner. He directed this Sin City Classic. He was a huge supporter of our network. He passed away in 2021, and in his honor, the Ken Scarce Leadership Award was created, and it's raised a lot of money. We're always looking to put more money in that scholarship fund. But we miss Ken. We always do. Ken was one of our friends.
And I believe if you go to what is now, so for those who don't know, the governing organization for National LGBTQ plus softball, which used to be NAGA, has changed its name to International Pride Softball. And so the website you want to go to is ipridesoftball.com, and you should be able to find a way to donate to that Ken Skier's scholarship fund.
Darren Turner leads off here in the top of the 5th and gets a single. There's going to be a batter. Aaron Butcher will not bat. This is a new batter. Unfortunately, though, we do not have his number because he's wearing a sweatshirt.
The sub on their roster was David Smith, number 15. Actually, our umpire is making, I thought she was going to make him show the number here.
It's David Smith.
And he is a Hall of Fame member.
So David Smith bats with one on and nobody out, and he takes the first pitch for a ball. And he takes this pitch and hits one off the pitcher. He recovers and underhands to first base and safe. The ball gets by the first baseman, and the runner takes third. It's runners at first and third. Pitcher's a little shaken up by this.
Yeah, no, I think it caught him in the lower half and his legs. And, why do you underhand the ball at first? It is not always easy to throw that overhand, and sometimes it can be something that gets in your head. So there's a lot of pitchers who actually try to underhand that ball to first when they can.
David Smith goes over to the pitcher and just talks to him about what happened.
And again, nothing wrong with hitting the ball up the middle. That's why we talked about the masks a little bit. Some slow pitch leagues do have a box where you are not allowed to ground or line it hard up the middle, but the Sin City Classic Tournament and International Pride Softball do not have that rule.
Fitz is going to run at first base for David Smith. The batter will be Chad Keith. It's runners at first and third, and nobody out here in the top half of the 5th. And there is a fly ball out onto right field, foul down the right field line.
I have not heard a time check from the umpire in a little while, but just to let folks know, we will be going right from this very quickly into another game. We may take a little break just to have the technical team make sure we're set up for the next game. The next game is going to be another bracket game that will have the number 1 seed playing against those Dallas Diamond Divas that won the 8-9 game.
There's a little looper on the infield. The force out is made there. Darren Turner scores. So there is an out made at second base on the force play, and it is either, I couldn't tell who picked it up, so I'm just going to give it to the shortstop because that's my favorite position. And it's runner at first base on the fielder's choice, and that'll bring up Peter Ho. He flips one as looked like he was golfing that one more than anything else. That pitch was a little too low, but he went after it, and he fouled it to the right side for a strike. That pitch is high. Oh, but it must have crossed the plate perfectly because she's called out on strikes.
I think Ho thought that pitch was high, and I'm not, if you actually had a tape measure out there to go 12 feet, I'm not sure he was wrong, but she had clearly let pitches that high be called strikes and not illegal during this game.
All right, here is Will Wright, and he lines one up the middle and on into center field for a base hit. Runner on his way to third is Chad Keith, and he is there with 2 out, first and third. First and third for Doug Sharp.
And really, when you're pitching or when you're hitting, you have to get used to what the umpire is calling. As long as the umpire is consistent, you can't ask for anything more, and we are just hearing that there is 4 minutes left in this game.
Doug Sharp swings and hits one out in the air to right center field. Left center fielder, actually, and comes up with the ball and throws it back in. 1 run scores, and Peter Ho, who is running at first base, will hold at third base. He's running for Will Wright. So a second run in the inning has scored.
I think Ho gets the award for most work in this game. He's been at bat 4 times, and I think has run every time for someone else every time he wasn't on the bases himself.
First pitch has been called illegal. This one is hit into left field for a hit. Peter Ho scores. And Doug Sharp to second Fitz gets the single.
So I have that as 3 runs in the inning, which means the score is now 15-5. So the Heat Strokes are up by 10, but it doesn't really matter. The Rebels are going to get their last at bat no matter what at this
There's
point.
a bouncing ball to third base, and the putout will be made as the third baseman runs to the bag and then gives a hook shot, sends that ball back to the pitcher's mound. So Doug Sharp was forced to third base, and that ends the inning. However, as Joel said, 3 runs score in the inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Our score is now the Palm Springs Heat Strokes 15 and the San Diego Rebels 5.
So the Rebels are going to need 10 runs to tie or 11 to win. In theory, if they got 1 run and then got out within the probably less than 3 minutes are left, you could get to a 6th inning, but more than likely, this 5th inning is going to be the end one way or the other. And I believe we have Raul Longoria leading it off for the Rebels in the bottom of the 5th. And remember, if you're thinking about that next game, which I believe is going to be the Diamond Divas, I will try to get you that number 1 seed in just a second here. The National All-Stars. Make sure that they know they're going to be on. If you know their friends, if you know some of them, their family members, give them a text. Let them know that they can watch that game on the Sin City Classic Facebook or YouTube page.
All right, so Raul Longoria leads off with his team needing at least, well, you're right, you've explained it. There may not be enough time. I'd have to believe we're somewhere close to 2, and that first pitch is a ball.
And if they don't get at least 1 run, then it would be a run rule, 15-5 at 10 after 5 innings. So
there's a line drive off the first baseman's glove. It'll be fielded out in shallow right field by the right fielder or the second baseman, one of the two. And on the play, Raul motors into second base. That was solidly hit and an opposite field hit and off that first baseman at first baseman's glove. That is Kevin Rottenberry playing at first base. And that'll bring up Robbie Hunt. Robbie Hunt was out on 2 fouls in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. And that pitch is not illegal. Boy, I'll tell you what, though, it sure looked like it. Swung on and hit in the hole between third and short and on into left field for a hit. The fleet of foot Longoria will score easily as the ball comes back in. It eludes the pitcher, backed up by the catcher, but the run scores easily. RBI single by Robbie Hunt.
So 1 down, 9 to go for that tie. The Rebels have been improving every inning. After 2 innings with no score, they got 1 in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th. So they have been kind of warming up those bats. We'll see if they have enough for this bottom of the 5th inning.
I suspect that any time now we're going to hear that clock go off. I would almost think, since you were told that there were 4 minutes at that point, we've got to be at under 2 or under 1. And that pitch is a ball. This is Edwin Herrera.
Big swing there by Herrera.
There's a bouncing ball to the second baseman. He will flip to the shortstop for 1 on the first. Safe. And that's it. The clock has run out. If I'm right,
the Rebels are the home team, so they'll finish this inning with 1 down and 1 on, and 1 in.
So here is Noe, and he needs to get on and he needs to keep the inning alive. The first pitch to him is hit in the air to left field. Left center fielder over to his right makes the catch, and that's an out. And now they have the runner picked off first base. Do they? Nope. First, the throw came back into the first baseman, but he had to go retrieve the ball because the throw came in to the left of the first baseman's bag, and so by the time he was able to catch the ball, the runner was able to get back to first base.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Salcido might have thought that was the last out of the inning. He's in there to run for Herrera. And yeah, they could have gotten it to first base, but it was off throw and they couldn't tag him in time.
All right, Paul Shepard takes the ball. Or no, he doesn't. He takes the strike. Boy, her strike zone has been really colorful. Okay. Andy. And they'll take on the Nashville Sports Network. Thanks for being with us.